A St. Johns County mom is fighting to change a Florida law after her 25-year-old daughter died in the hospital. 25 is a critical age in Florida. That's when you can become what critics of the law call a free kill.
I just keep saying, how is this happening in the United States of America?
It's been 4 months since Cindy Jenkins' oldest daughter, Taylor, died in a Florida hospital.
Taylor was just a gift to the world. She was full of love and light. Everybody loved her.
The gaping hole left in her mother's life is hard to put into words.
Oh, sorry.
Making it even harder, she says her daughter died due to hospital negligence.
I just think what a senseless loss of a life.
Taylor, a flight attendant who grew up in Clay County, had been out celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Orlando with friends when she was in a car accident.
She was on her way home, sitting at her red light with her seatbelt on, doing all the right things, to quote Florida Highway Patrol. And another driver rear-ended her at a pretty high rate of speed.
She was rushed to a nearby hospital where she was treated for a traumatic brain injury.
So the brain injury appears to have been a misdiagnosis.
Jenkins says doctors failed to identify a torn artery in her daughter's pelvis until it was too late.
She comes out of the CT and they realize she has a life-threatening torn artery. And pretty much she had gone into heart failure, organ failure. She sustained hypoxic brain injury from not getting blood and oxygen to her brain.
How convinced are you the hospital was responsible for Taylor's death?
110%. You can't convince me otherwise. They ran with the brain injury diagnosis and she laid there in blood internally for hours and hours and hours.
Had Taylor died 3 months earlier when she was 24, her mother would have sued. But because she was 25, no attorneys would take the case.
And that's when the questions began. How old was Taylor? She just turned 25. Was she married? Not yet. Did she have children? No. We can't help you. And that's when I learned about Florida's free kill law.
The law has been on the books since the 90s.
It means that you don't have access to the judicial system to hold negligent doctors and hospitals accountable when they negligently kill your family member. So they call them a free kill.
Republican Florida Representative Spencer Roach co-sponsored legislation to repeal the law, but it's never passed the state Senate.
The living can sue, but the dead cannot. And we call that a free kill because it's virtually free to let the patient expire, but it can potentially be very costly if you save their life. So it's this perverse medical incentive to let someone die rather than try to save their life because you're trying to avoid a medical malpractice suit.
The law applies only to medical negligence. It prohibits claims if the person who died is an adult over the age of 25 and has no spouse or children under 25.
It's the #1 reason we decline medical malpractice cases. There's no recourse for what that doctor did wrong or the nurse or whoever it may be. There's no recourse for that negligence.
Attorney Kevin Moore says his office gets calls every day from families stunned to learn that they can't sue for medical malpractice.
It's a brother or a sister or an adult child and their mother or their father just passed away. And you can clearly see that there was medical negligence. I mean, even if they were to absolutely just cut off the wrong leg and you die as a result, no matter how blatant it is, you still don't have a claim if you don't have a spouse or a minor child.
The law was designed to rein in malpractice premiums and keep doctors from leaving Florida.
And these are heart-wrenching stories.
Republican State Senator Clay Yarborough has been hearing from outraged families and says he's considering sponsoring a bill next session.
Most of the medical community is doing a fine job, but we need to make sure that the accountability is there so that issues like this don't happen again in the future.
Given that we're the only state that has this type of draconian statute protecting bad doctors who are killing people on the operating table, I think this is a case where Florida needs to follow the rest of the nation, repeal this draconian law from the books, and allow these folks to get their day in court.
The push to repeal this law has bipartisan support, but Representative Roach is skeptical it has enough support right now to pass the Senate. That's why Jenkins is urging Floridians to make their voices heard, so no other family is barred from having their day in court.
If everybody in every district reaches out to their senator and says, no more, the people have spoken, we do not want this law, make it go away. That's what it's going to take.
Now, we are not identifying the hospital where Taylor died because it's not named in a lawsuit. But when we asked that hospital about these allegations, a spokesperson sent us a statement saying that the death of a loved one is always very difficult and our hearts go out to this family. We are committed to providing high quality care to our patients and rely on highly trained physicians to make medical decisions based on their expertise and full understanding of each patient's unique healthcare needs. And we should point out that the medical examiner's report initially listed Taylor's cause of death as blunt head trauma, but later changed the cause of death to a torn artery with blunt force head and neck trauma listed as a contributing factor.